Potentially expect to see XP3 with that op on his back, probably playing a real mobile sort of op roll up towards heaven and being able to rotate down and help out ramp as well. That's something me and Moses talked about the last time that I joined him on a cast. Just that you don't necessarily need to put a huge outside presence as CT. You sort of want to play that op at the long range, being able to help and rotate around. But we've got Elevate here. They're going to go ahead and basically play this on the way you'd expect. Again, XP3, yes, he is going to be that outside player. He's going to peek here early on and just see that there's a bunch of players pushing him. He's actually probably going to get dropped. I don't know if he's going to be able to get away from this. Maybe.
He got gooshed, and they're closing in, and they wrapped all the way towards hell, but Roka still gets the opening kill onto Finesse at the upper side. They're still waiting for XP3. Look at that. He's hiding all the way in the back of CT spawn just to scout it out and prevent people from going into heaven. But they're still chasing him down. They finally do. Hayes is the one that gets the kill. But I think they spotted the bomb carrier inside locker as well. So at this point, the upper bomb site is up for grabs. Hayes runs all the way towards T-spawn so he can pick up a USP, but there's still 50 seconds left on the clock. Still plenty of time for CLG to work with right now. But at this point, the way that they're set up, I think they should just push into ramp. There's only one guy playing ramp, and that's Storm. Storm spots the first one here. One guy creeping up towards the ladder. They are set up right now, Elevate, to get a quick drop inside the fence too, but they decide to go up towards the ladder and bring the fight to Elevate, and it works. They take the upper hand. Cutler, who got the opening 2 frags inside the A-bomb site, gives a chance for Peter to move inside the site and get the bomb plant. Now it's a 3 versus 1. Storm inside the lobby is going to opt to go towards the vents to not make any noise. He's going to get an insta-goosh as soon as he peeks out. This is going to be GG. Peter gets the kill, and the pistol round comes for CLG.
Yeah, and Storm just there late in that round. Didn't really have much of a choice. He was hoping that he might have an opening there, maybe a hole in the door at Squeaky or something, but nothing to it. Go ahead, and they pushed up heaven and sort of caught those Elevate players a little bit off guard. None of them able to pick up any of the CLG players that pushed up that way, and then they pushed in, I think, 1 through Mini as well. So good execute there. Late round on that upper bomb site, going ahead and splitting up through heaven, and now we've got them putting a big presence outside. They're actually going to put up those smokes, at least one outside, and Peter's going to work with the scout. We see him so frequently do it, and he gets the scout kill on XP3. Like I said, second round, it is almost a sure thing you'll see a scout on Peter's back, and we see it there, and he does work with it, getting XP3, and now they've got the full control of the outside. There is a stack here by the CTs towards Secret, so we'll see if that's going to play into any impact here. I don't know that they're going to go down Secret, but right now, full stack, Elige, Roka, and Rush, all prepped for it.
So still actually, yeah, like you said, they're prepped up for a lower push right now, but it's still very slow for CLG so far. They want to make Elevate make the first mistake by pushing aggressively, and they do, but they do get the trade, but then Targ swipes up the last kill. So that leaves the lower side open right now, as meanwhile Rush rotated the way towards upper site. He might come head-to-head against this fight against Finesse, but he loses it there. So Storm, once again, is going to be the last man standing at this point. We'll just look for some exit kills. So it's going to be an easy bomb plan right now, as CLG is swarming over towards this upper bomb site. It's going to be planned at default spot right now for secret end events, or should I say mini end events. And Storm is just going to creep towards that ladder and hope to get maybe 1 or 2. He won't be able to save a gun at this point, but he could hurt the economy just a tad by forcing them on another to force them to buy a gun for the next round for a drop. So he's just gonna hold it out, and he's gonna look for the rotation out towards Mini. But look at that mini map. Everybody's going out towards T spawn. Smart play by CLG, because look at their economy. They're all at 400 or so. They can't really afford to drop another gun. If they lost another one, they were gonna go for force for another a Galil buy or drop for a Galil here. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be 2-0. Storm saving that P250, no armor, and that's it.
Yeah, and Peter going to go ahead. He was able to save an AK, so he's going to drop that for Cutler, and then he's going to pick up that scout again. So he's going to go for the 3rd round scout as well. So that was a cheap investment for him. Go ahead and pick up the 1700. They win here. He's got an op on his back next round. So we'll see. Again, they're going to work that outside, and there's a big presence here. They're actually going to nade stack it. Cutler gets 1, and then Elige XP3 get 2 nade kills. XP3 does, and now all of a sudden this looks very winnable for Elevate.
They're still not pushing. They're still not pushing, and finally Finesse actually sees him, but they know that the bomb's outside. He's pinned by himself and finally gets support from Tariq, but this is a big round coming in for Elevate. So far, making it a good eco. They spot right now, XP3 spots Finesse, so that's the bomb cure, making his way towards Secret. Will that be the call right now for one of them to rotate towards lower? Indeed. Storm went from Rem into the control side, and he's just going to hold it out. Smart to move to maybe hide inside the Toxic. He had enough time, but at this point, if he opens that door, he's going to get hurt. So he's just gonna hide in the back of the site. Finesse is slowly creeping up towards his control, but we do have a lurker in the back of the vent, and that is going to be Tariq. So they know where both of these guys are, so they could just set up the angle now. Finesse opens it up. Storm misses the first few shots, so he should die easily here. Tariq doing the 180 kill onto a leash, but Storm gets the frag into Tariq because he only had 8 HP. But now they know the bomb is pinned in Sun control. 30 seconds left on the clock. It all comes down to Finesse having to win this fight, but he did know that XP3 was coming towards Secret. And XP3 gets the kill, and they get the Eco Cobra Hiss.
All right, buddy. All right, buddy.
It's a 1.6 thing, man. If you listened to my cast 8 years ago, that was a normal
8
thing.
years. I was barely born 8 years ago. That's no. I mean, I thought Elevate was potentially going to throw that away. They got the 3 kills early with the nades, and I thought they potentially were going to throw that away because they didn't push up and get any guns out of it. And FNS picked up 1, and then all of a sudden they had 1 player really, really low. So I thought that was a little scary. I thought they were going to throw away a good round they had there, but in any case, they pick it up. Peter, but obviously with the 2 rounds that CLG was able to get, they're actually going to go ahead and be able to buy up. They've got Cutler with a scout, and then Peter does have his op. So they're basically full strength, other than that scout. I guess you probably
full strength and weak on health.
Yeah.
So Cutler at 14, Peter at 7. They cross over towards Secret now for CLG. But this is going to be a tough battle for them to win right now. There's only XP3 that's been heavily damaged throughout this whole fight so far by trying to work towards this outside, and now he's playing that smart move to hide inside the Toxic. So they don't really have to worry about lower so far. Rush looking back. They're still trying to commit towards this lower area, trying to take control of Secret at the back of the vents, but have not committed inside the site yet. All XP3 needs to do is to wait to hear for that bomb to go off. Maybe open a door, bank a flash, or first spam through. But at this point, you could see it from that minimap. Everybody's going to rotate and going to go for the boost to try to take the heaven take. So Roka, Rush, you're going to have to step it up big time here at the lower site. On the piss around, it didn't work. Now it's the time for them to redeem themselves. They're going to boost Tariq up. So no noise moving out towards the ladder, but easily spotted there by Roka with the peeker's advantage. That's 1 man down. The rest of the guys trying to work towards Mini. Rush is holding it out towards Mini. Gets the win against Cutler. Now there's only 0 seconds left. Hayes is able to save his AK-47. Peter able to save his op. So they could still make some damage in this next round.
Yeah, and Peter actually, the part of the reason he got quickly down to that 7 HP was he did decide to go with what has been dubbed by most people now the glass cannon approach, going ahead and pick up the op without the armor. And he's in that very same scenario again. So no armor on the back of him, so he's got to be very careful about nades and getting spammed down through anything. So goes with that same approach. It's just very dangerous, especially with how easily you can get naded down on this map. And actually, Roka goes in and spams Hayes, so he gets the spam kill on Hayes, who was up there trying to do some spamming of his own. And now, Elevate has the 1-man advantage early in the round.
Peter, at that point, is still at 0 money. He was able to save his gun, so he made no money. On the top of that, he couldn't buy any small armor, any nades at all, so that's why he was stuck with what he had. And because of that, gets easily killed here from the inside site into the hut. Opera is down. 2-man advantage right now for Team Elevate. As Cutler and crew, at this point, Tariq getting the opening kill, though. As he's lurking towards the outside, wins that fight against XP3, I think towards Heaven. Yes, indeed it was. So I think they're banking right now on Tariq to try to get this flank in his opening kill so that they could try to take control of ramp here. He spots Rush. So that the other 2 guys should try to pin it and win this fight against Storm. But Rush comes back to help him out. They spot him both, get the 2 kills. Rush looks back towards the Hell area, and which is surprising to me, where Tariq still decided to look towards Heaven when he moved towards the locker room area. Should have kept looking towards that connector, because Rush should have been there, but now they're going to be on another save round coming in for CLG. Because with Peter having no money with an AWP, the rest of the guys did buy small armor and Tech 9s to try to win the round, though. Yeah,
that's correct. And they like you said, they tried to do it, but I'm going to pull it up. Now, like I said, basically a full eco here. They got P250s, on the backs of most of their players in one Tech 9. So basically really trying to save up as much money as they can in this round. And they got a fire down in front of them, and now they're going to try to execute on this A-bomb site.
With pistols, XP3 getting the opening frag. Elige and Roka going to work. Storm, the last man standing, about to go head-to-head against Finesse, and dispatches the head of Finesse with the M4. So Elevate, losing the pistol round, coming back in this one since the Eco, winning 4 in a row.
Yeah, that was just a real quick drop. Unable to keep up with any of the frags. They just happened so quickly as they executed on that upper. The flashes really didn't do a whole lot to any of the Elevate players as CLG was coming in. And now they've got 4 AKs across the board on the CLG side, which is just fine. No reason you need an op on this map, although it does sort of help you to be able to rotate around if you can push that op outside and get some information and put potentially a pick. But they're not going to play that because they didn't have the money. They got full nades out, and Roka gets another one. He gets another player who is spamming. They need to stop doing that. Otherwise, Roka's just going to keep racking up these wallbang kills on the guy who's out on the T roof. Tarek here, he's going to spam down some himself. He's not going to get anything. So now, that's I would advise them to not do that, as Roka seems to have figured out that exact spam spot.
For sure. So now they're just holding back towards the lobby after losing this first player early in the round. And with the smokes that are being thrown at the same time here towards that ramp, they can't really execute anything so far. They have to wait for all of this to dissipate because Hut was also smoked out. Looks like they will opt to try to go for a trade inside the ramp area, but Storm is not there by himself this time. Rush is the one playing the rotator and the support. The trade comes back in though, but he's at least able to put Peter down to 9 HP. Targ decides to just run in, guns a-blazing, and wins the fight against Storm. Now XP3 just going for a random shot after he got blinded, but Ramp is now under control as he gets a frag here on the from the outside onto Cutler. Last 2 guys made their way towards lower. Nobody's really there for Elevate to try to contest here, except Elige towards the back of the site, sorry. And he's just going to run and gun through that smoke and frag the last guy. And it's now going to be 5-2 with Elevate looking very strong on their CT side so far. The only area where CLG has a chance so far, it seems, Holden, is outside if they're able to take down XP3 first.
Right, and that's where, you know, it's tough because you want to be able to try to buy up and win these rounds, especially when you have people with AKs and whatnot. They've got Galils across the board, and that's where I was talking about. If they have the ability to get a true op with armor on the back of Peter and help support him outside, that might be the chance they have to try to compete against XP3. And then once they're out there, that's where their opportunities sort of present themselves, as potentially being able to go down secret or through mini or wrapping all the way around. But XP3 having to follow back, doing a very good job of playing this dynamically with his teammates Rush actually coming down and helping him locker. So these players just moving around, just keeping CLG on their toes. The CLG is executing very hard down secret, and you've just got Elige, I believe that is, down there to try to contest.
Yeah, he spots Hayes crossing over, but nothing's going to happen out of that. Still a 5-on-5 situation, but the bloodbath will be happening soon. Hayes down there, Tarek with the bomb down there. They open a squeaky door, but Elige is still holding inside the vents. It's not been broken, so he's just waiting to see if anybody's going to flank across. He spots Peter, they're both so low, he wins the fight. And the rest of the guys now will have to try to commit. They smoked out towards lower as well to prevent XP3 and Storm to rotate across or push through the smoke. XP3 running across. Oh, but he turned around just a little bit too soon. They take him from behind, and he comes for the flank on the top, but Tarek still gets the bomb plant at lower. Comes through, gets the headshot into Roka. Storm is now the last man standing inside the ramp, and that is one round that just came big for CLG. Just everything worked for them in that favor. The takeovers, the lurks, the flanks, and Storm stuck on a 3 versus 1, will force to battle it out to save his M4. Of course, Elevate will still be able to buy here, but he just wants to get this win against Tarek to make him lose his gun, but he does not. And Counter Logic Gaming finally puts his point back on the scoreboard after losing 5 in a row.
Yeah, just as you said it, before that last round, you said the only place that looks like they have an opportunity right now is to go outside. And what do? They immediately execute outside. They smoke off XP3. They lay some spam down on him. They force him all the way back into heaven. At that point, they just quickly executed into secret. They didn't waste any time. They just moved down there. They got into the site. And Elevate, you know, with how easy it is to rotate on this map, sort of surprising that they weren't able to get a bigger presence down there faster. But just because of that, CLG able to secure it and sort of watch all the angles that Elevate could have potentially coming from. But this round, now CLG is going to play it back a little bit more passive. They got a couple guys into lobby. You've got excuse me, that it looks like Tarek is going to sit in Squeaky, see if anyone pushes him radio. You've got one out on T-Roof, that's FNS. Peter out there supporting as well as Cutler just kind of peeking outside. So they are spread out sort of in that lobby area, just holding back, seeing if Elevate's going to push anything. And then I would expect to execute a very quick take on something.
Yeah, it looks like to be upper. Finesse is setting up for a smoke here. I think this is going to hit towards that heaven, if you want to follow that, Holden. And here we go.
Oh, I suck. There we go.
You tried.
I got it.
All right. So they're still setting up right now inside that lobby. Finesse is just waiting, perked up here for that smoke to go inside the site. I think they're waiting for this smoke inside the hut to clear first. So here it goes. It goes through. It's smoked out heaven. And here's the execute. They smoked out Mini at the same time here. But a nice incendiary grenade getting thrown in, and that's going to hurt a lot. But Hayes still manages to get the opening kill. But then they all line up. Roka and Elish going to work, dropping the bomb carrier. Finesse is the last man standing. The one that smoked is going to have to be the one that clutches. He narrows it down to a 2 versus 1, but he only has 19 HP, 1 AK-47, 7 seconds left on the clock. He's just going to have to run in and gun in. But it's going to be Elevate that's going to win that one, and it's going to reset CLG's money. But at the same time, they have lost a player, so we'll wait for him to come back.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, got that, and now we're back on cam. You can wave high again as we were sitting here waiting for it. It looks like actually it's going to be very quickly. They came right back in, so should be right back underway here. Match should unpause. That was some intense waving there, sir.
Yeah, I was waving, then I decided to robot a bit, and then tut, but then it didn't turn out. My dance moves always look so much cooler in my head than in real life.
Same thing. The same thing when I've been drinking. My dance move looks way better when I've been drinking than when I'm sober. So
we don't condone that, ladies and gentlemen. Do not drink.
If you're of age and you're responsible, enjoy yourself.
All right. Back with the action, though. We haven't paused things up. Lots of nades happening towards the outside. It is going to be one of those aggressive pushes again. Rush going to work. 1 and 2. They have done this before against Team Liquid. They're doing it again against CLG. But Peter on the scene retaliates back. But they are both all solos. We got Tarek and Peter, leaving Peter the last man standing just after Tarek got dispatched by a storm. And that is going to be an easy 4 versus 1 victory coming up here for Elevate. Could be a 3 versus 1 if Peter could win a fight here on a 1 versus 1.
Yes, sir. So we'll see. Peter's just he's just gonna try to save that gun. He's just posted up here on an outer, and Ali's just gonna walk it. And I don't know if he's gonna look up in that particular corner that Peter's at. If you actually take a look at it, he's now he's gonna jump up in that silo. So he's in that silo corner. He actually jumps up, and Rush is looking right there, ready for him. So. Takes him out. And with that, CLG is now down 3-7, and they, again, not bad. I mean, they won 2 pistol rounds. They picked up 1 gun round. Realistically, they pick up 1 or 2 more gun rounds, and this is doable on Nuke. 3 rounds is going to be a little tough, so they definitely want to try to pick up at least 1 more. 2 or 3 would be ideal. 3 would be excellent, but if they pick up 2 more, they probably feel pretty good going in the second half.
Definitely, and we've called it before, and I think Liquid had the same thing. They had 4 rounds on T side, and it brought it to overtime. So do not discount CLG out of this game just as of yet, because they're doing great work so far. They won pistol round, they won second round. That's all they needed. Hey, I just noticed that when you hit tab on the scoreboard, the rounds actually show the CT side wins and the T side wins. You don't have to hit Q anymore. I don't know if that's new or not, but I just noticed it now. Nonetheless, heading back with the... That's cool, isn't it? Finesse wins the fight against Elish, so have they cleared up here? I think he was spamming towards the floor and got the kill. And that opens up the upper bomb side just a tad, but Rush decided to rotate back towards the top to support his teammate, which would give them a huge advantage right now to overtake this this ramp area, because it should only be Storm playing ramp by himself, and indeed, he actually left the ramp room area clear to be able to watch the lower site from a pretty interesting angle, because people coming down the ramp, okay, they'll be fine, but the doors are always open, so they know that Storm's going to be in there. And if they go up towards the ramp, well, he's not going to see anybody, and they could, again, easily kill him down there.
Yep, and now they're going to try to push out here, and then Roka and Rush is going to shut down any sort of chance they had trying to take that upper area. And we did get confirmation from some people in chat. This is what happens when you're casting in the middle of a CSGO update. You don't get to see what it is, but that was part of the update that was just pushed out. So good eyes.
Yeah, definitely. And another one that came up, apparently, Google Canada Dynamics has been telling me the whole night, is actually if you open that minimap and you hold shift, it draws lines for, I think, the time of distance traveled in 2D.
Really? I'm going to try that in a second. Hopefully not break our stream when I do it, but we'll see.
Try right now, since we're still waiting a few seconds for this action to start, as these guys are still trying to lurk towards the outside. But never mind, bring it back to the action. One already jumped inside the mini, but he gets picked off there. That is Tarek, and it is the save round for CLG. They're running across through the smoke. They're trying to take down XP3. They're trying to flank him from behind. Peter's trying to stay alive as much as he can, and he will be able to do so. But after that, he gets dispatched by Rush's grenade. Touchdown from the CT spawn. Last one spotted, courtesy of Roka. Kills Finesse to make it 9-3.
All right. So I tried to do that thing. I don't know how it works, so it was really uncomfortable and awkward, and then I almost missed a frag. so for now, until I get good confirmation on what the heck, how that works, I'm gonna go ahead and just cast away this game, as Elevate now has a commanding lead 9-3, and CLG's got to put something together.
Yeah, well, you know what? At least you did it during the eco round, so it's not so bad. Yeah, so let's see what happens out of this. It is a full gun round coming in here for CLG. So now they're gonna spot. They're gonna go for a trade. Tarek spots one, taking down the leash, and Finesse dropping onto the top of Twinkie. But then XP3 somehow still alive. He's been holding towards that T-red box. They never spotted him because of that silence weapon. I guess they never really checked their medium up either. But finally, Peter takes him down with the op, and he's going to drop it to take advantage of the AK-47 and try to win this 2 versus 1. Storm on the top, opposite Raptor. Roka inside hut to look towards outside. So at this point, he's going to think that or Peter is going to rotate back towards T-spawn, or he's going to be able to make it to secret. And at this point, he made it towards secret, and nobody's really watching it. So should be an easy plant coming in right now for Peter. But the vents are not broken, so as soon as this is done, it's pretty much GG. But Peter, the smart move that he's doing right now is he's looking left and right to see if all vents are not broken. Because if both vents were not broken, that would have given him enough time to break one vent open and get down to the bomb plant. But he's going to opt to go through the squeaky door. He's going to try to get this bomb plant with success. Roka on the top of him, drops in front, ring around to Rosie, gets the headshot, 2 versus 1, he gets dinged through the catwalk by Storm, and now it's a 1 versus 1, both so low in the even health situation. Flash being thrown in, Storm is going to get partially blinded by that. Nade coming out, that is just going to open a door and make it a clear opening for Storm, who runs out of bullets, switches to the pistol, and Peter wins!
Oh,
2 versus 1.
I had to physically restrain myself from saying "oh" during that.
You should have. It would have been the O hype.
Yeah, man, that was intense. The positioning by Peter was so good. He actually played that so smart. He throws down the molly so that he can block off and not have to worry about one of the vents, and then he goes ahead and plants behind the silo and just walks around as he hears the player up there. So, okay, I'm gonna try this real quick.
Is it working?
It just says 0 meters, 0. Okay, this is. Oh, that's cool. So I'll figure that out, but I get it now. That's pretty neat. We'll test it out later.
Sounds good. So, full gun round for both teams. They're trying to spam through the windows of the rafters so far to hopefully get Peter here. But Peter is just with that Tech 9, so he didn't have enough money for an EWP. Look at them. They're really low on the money situation so far. This could give a chance right now for Elevate if they win this round to reset the money and just end it on an 11-4 score. But at this point, it's still going to be, it was a 1-minute advantage, down to a 4 versus 4 now as we've evened things up on the outside. Leash is going to try to peek out, but Peter's waiting for him at the angle. Half of his body comes out, puts him down to 19 HP. Nade comes down, Molly comes down as well. Peter is trying to hunt him down. But just like that, looks like they're going to refocus to try to work towards this upper bomb site. But look at that. Hayes has been waiting patiently inside the ramp with the bomb on his back this whole round, and finally Finesse and Tarek meet up with him, and they're going to try to commit towards this lower bomb site. So that means I think Storm should be playing inside Toxic again. Yes, indeed he is. From that weird spot, Elige gets picked off as he is trying to drop down towards the vents. But Storm, like I said, look at that. The way that he's positioned right now that door is open, they know he's in there, so they're just going to smoke it out. So it's going to be an easy bomb plant coming through. He's going to smoke it. Okay, I thought he was smoking it, but he's going to flash to try to run out. But just like that, the position that he plays there inside Toxic gives no chance for his teammates to rotate down through the vents or control to help him out. So he's basically baiting right there, was stuck in a 3 versus 1 situation after that, and there's nothing more that you could do at the end of the day. So not a good spot for him to do. If anything, stay hidden inside Toxic, keep the doors closed, wait for that sound of the bomb to go off, open it, and spam through the smoke if you have to. That'll give enough time for the terrorist team to try to reassess the round, try to pick up the bomb and plant it, but also give a chance for your teammates to rotate a little bit better.
Right, but all of a sudden CLG, this looks very promising for them. What looked to initially be a little difficult, but now they got 5 rounds started good, and Peter's going to go ahead and get the early frag on XP3, and that's the man who has been holding their outside, and now he's dropped, and all of a sudden CLG's going to be able to take that lower bomb site again. And you've got Roka, he's going to have to rotate through the vent. Storms at ramp, he's going to rotate down, and I believe, yes, Rush and Elige both going to have to go down through the vent as well. So CLG don't have the plant down quite yet, but they are all across the back of the bomb site, and actually Roka gets one in the vent, but still CLG has the advantage here. They just got to sort of wait for Elevate to push, and that's what's doing. FNS gets one. I think he heard another one in vent. Storm gets a frag. Spamming.
He's getting hunted down though. Hayes is going to take him down, and just like that, another trade comes through, but Roka couldn't keep it up. And it's going to be, that's what she said, but that's going to be Counter Logic Gaming winning that round. Ending the half 9-6, which is not too shabby at the end of the day, Holden.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's not too shabby. I mean, that's a stellar Nuke side, right? I mean, and that you expect, you know, Nuke, if you get 4 or 5 rounds, you're pretty happy. At 6 rounds, you're real excited. But I was actually able to figure that whole map thing out, Vince. So it is pretty cool. It actually allows you to click, drag, and figure out the distance. So, for example, going from the exit of T-spawn all the way out to secret takes approximately 12 seconds. So that's really cool when you talk about how long rotations take, especially if you get a quick bomb plant, having to see how long it's going to take the CTs to get over and how much bomb time is going to come off. So very cool feature. Eventually, I'll try to work that in and maybe take advantage of it, but it's a little awkward on Nuke where the rotations come vertically and not horizontally.
For sure, but the pistol round is already underway. Elevate already crossed towards Secret. They're going to come head-to-head against Tarek, who still stays alive, manages to take on Roka. Big fragger right now for Elevate. Traded back by Elige, though. Elige trying to find another one inside the vents, but he falls back on time, and it looks like it was Peter. Peter peeks back out here. They are smoked out down towards the lower vents as well, or the lower ramp as well, so this is going to give a chance for Elevate for a plant. Grenade putting down Rush to 43% after he got the bomb planted. Elige hiding inside Toxic, playing the Storm spot. But the few guys are still waiting here for CLG from the ramp side, so they're going to go for a 4-man push through each vent entrances and 2 from the ramp. And everybody's playing on the outside, so this has to be big. They have to go for big trades now, and it's working. They spot one more. They're trying to push in. They're still on the defuse. 2 seconds left on the clock. 1 second left on the clock, and Elige gets the kill. Manages to stay alive inside the Toxic to win the round for Elevate. If he got killed, that was game over, and that would have been an embarrassing loss by a full defuse with no kit against CLG.
Even more embarrassing because I'm sitting there watching Elise spray with his burst fire Glock. I think he bursted 5 times before he finally got the kill down. That was scary. But in any case, Elevate gets the round win, which again we talk about it, huge for Terra's side to pick up the pistol round win. So they get that one. They pick up a couple more. They're in a decent spot. So we'll see, again, they're actually going to buy up Galils and AKs. They got some spam going down on the upper, exactly what CLG had tried to do in the past, but CLG not returning the frags like Roka did.
Yeah, and going for this $1,500 investment for 5.7s and armor, but Tarek pushing by himself, pays the price and gets picked off by Rush, trying to catch some people off guard, but did not come to fruition. As we still have Peter, though. He does have a CZ. This could put a lot of damage right now, but they're going to smoke out towards Secret. So I think at this point, you will see Elevate trying to take advantage of outside, wrap around, or maybe pinch in towards Mini. So Peter's going to hear the footsteps. He's still stuck inside the smoke, trying to find the right area to cover here. But he's going to be able to flank one from behind. No, he's just going to wait for it. He's going to say, all right, guys, they're actually going towards this locker room area. Let's set up right now to go for that stack at upper. He finally spots XP3, puts him down to 49. But CLG are in good position right now to try to counter what Elevate's trying to do. But at the end of the day, it seems as though the rifles are a little bit more strong as they have now committed towards the lower bomb site, making it a 3-on-1 situation after Finesse takes down Leash. But post-plant, they get the frag onto Finesse, and Elevate now takes the lead by 5 with an 11-6 score. Things are going to get closer and closer. With this $1,500 investment here holding in the second round is okay, because you're going to go for a full round, if not invest max for a P250, and you will be fine to buy the next round with rifles. But if they don't win the round, they won't have enough for an AWP for Peter.
Right. I mean, that's what I was looking at. And the question is, will we see Peter go ahead and glass cannon it? I don't even know. It'd be really. I think it's going to be very close on that too. So we'll see what happens. But Roka actually gonna. They actually. Oh wow. CLG, Hayes and Peter both aggressed into the lobby, and Roka was sitting at the vent and spammed them down as if he knew they were going to do that. FNS does pick up a Liege, but returned very quickly by Rush as they are splitting up on this lobby and upper, and actually just CLG is just playing aggressive everywhere, trying to see if they can catch anyone off guard, but unable to. So clean sweep, basically. A Liege does get dropped, but that's about it. And now CLG, if you look at it, yeah, not able to buy an op on the back of Peter.
Yeah, the maximum was like 4,600, I think, 4,650, right. I think, on the back of Finesse. Yeah, it was. So all these investments, it's all going to be full M4s, FAMASs, but also surprisingly no kits. So they're going to have to play a little bit more aggressively or better angles to prevent any bomb plants. If not, it's going to be very hard for them to try to retake to win the round.
Right, well, and this is a scary scenario for CLG because they already gave up the 3 pistol rounds to Elevate, and now all of a sudden you're potentially, because of your force buy here, because you were unable to keep your economy up, now if you lose this one as well, that's going to put you in a very tough spot because you're probably going to have to eco or force up one more time.
Lots of spamming happening right now for Elevate on the outside, but they're not able to catch anybody so far through the rafters. They're playing close. Look at that. 2 guys, one right next to each other. That is, well, actually through the minimap, but Color is actually watching outside from the balcony, so that's my fault from looking at the overhead view. But they're spawning outside and noticing that Elevate are still holding towards T-spawn. So after the few spams, they're just going to try to execute a few smokes and then go for the cross after, but Cutler still has great vision right now to try to pick him off here from the rafters. Pop flash coming through, but he's not going to get blinded. Has the better angle, but XP3 still manages to get the opening frag with a 1-tap. Coming through, he does get the spam, but only needs 1 bullet to get the kill onto Cutler. So outside is open for business. Storm then retaliates on to Finesse as well. So we do have a 2-minute advantage coming in for Team Elevate. They have committed towards lower as well, so it's going to be a lower pinch. Tari still manages to stay alive, though, but then finally traded out by XP3. So XP3 is doing a very good job in terms of entry kills.
Yeah, this is just a solid take on that lower bomb site, sending those guys down the vents and the squeaky the way they did. So just put CLG in a really weird, tough spot, and Cutler dying outside didn't help that scenario. Nuke is one of those, you know, ramping outside. It's okay to sort of get aggressed, but you need to fall back quickly and not give up that man. Is what Cutler had happen to him outside. But this really, so far this half, these last couple of rounds has been a story of poor economic situation for CLG, and it's going to continue after this because they forced up and they basically had very little money on the backs, and so I imagine we're going to have plenty of players here. They got the 1 rifle on the back of Hayes. That's clearly why he saved it, but you look at it and they've got a bunch of players, 2 players underneath 3K and a couple just barely above it. So I'm wondering if they're going to force up around this M4. They're just going to eco. No, they're going to use that. They're going to eco here and potentially allow Elevate to move into a 14-6 score unless Hazed or someone can step up big with their pistols.
With a big lead like this, though, you can't discount CLG, because knowing Elevate, there could still be the comeback game by CLG in the next round, when they're finally going to be able to afford an op. So now it's an easy, uncontested outside, pushing down towards lower. They spot Peter as well. He should be taken down very soon, and that is going to be from Rush's grenade. They spot one at lower vents as well. One nade coming through towards control, so they know there's going to be a stack down towards lower. But at this point, like we just mentioned, their rifles are just too strong versus the pistols coming through. Tarek, still in the back of the side, gets the dink headshot, but then easily avenged by Storm. So Cutler coming through, taking down Hayes, last man standing, and he's going to opt to save his M4 again, maybe? He's going to battle up face-to-face against XP3 very soon. Gets the dink. And at that point, it's time for him to play the turtle style and play the angles for the frags. Headshot on Taroka. Bomb is going to go off, but they're still trying to hunt him down to prevent him to try to save his gun. He did get that nade that's going to hurt Rush down to 25 HP. So at this point, he will be able to save it inside T-spawn. Rush is not going to go for the hunt anymore. And then at the end of the day, it's still going to be the round coming in for Elevate to make it 14-6.
And they will finally be able to buy up around that M4, and you actually look at it, and this is an interesting nuke play, and I think we actually saw it from CLG this weekend when they're doing the I by Power thing. We watched them play on nuke, and they're actually doing a double op on nuke. So they've got one on the back of Peter, and FNS, surprisingly enough, is the other one that has the op. So see how they actually end up playing that. It looks like FNS is going to be in ramp room, whereas Peter is going to be playing that outside with the op. So interesting play here. We'll see how it works out for them, but it's a big economic investment. If they were to lose this one with these two op spot, again, very tough situation, but they know they need to win this to give them that round buffer to work with as they work and try to make this comeback.
The advantage of that, too, is that the way that Finesse is playing towards the back of the ramp room area with a bomb, with an AWP, they only need one guy to watch the ramp room area. So they could focus more on having a three-man stack towards upper to help out and support, especially Cutler. His roaming situation is going to be playing from the vent area up and lower. Meanwhile, Peter is opting on the outside from CT spawn. So I don't know why Cutler is actually still looking towards Secret right now, because at this point, the way Peter is playing, he shouldn't have seen anybody cross yet. But nonetheless, Elevate's going to try to execute towards the upper side, so this does pay off in their favor for CLG with the way they played their defensive style with that 2-op setup, and they, on top of that, win a flawless round.
Yes, sir. Hayes playing really solid there up in Mustang. Just up there, going to go ahead and peek down as they take that upper bomb site. And Elevate wasn't quite ready, I don't think, for that full rifle stack up there in the upper. And I don't know that they knew that FNS was going to be at ramp, just holding it by himself with that op. And so they had a bunch of rifles to deal with in the upper bomb site. But here we go into this next round. We are now in round 22, and again, Peter's going to be outside, and he's going to get pressed up on a little bit, but I thought he was going to get the frag there as they're pushing on him. Now he's going to have to just be really careful that it doesn't get dropped easily. He gets one, he's got 4 more terrorists to deal with, and he's got his teammates coming into Mini to help him out. That is Hayes at Mini. And as well
as Secret as well, though.
Yep, Tarek coming up with Secret, and Peter gets the shot through the smoke!
And a double kill on top of that.
And Peter goes ahead. That's 4. He gets 4 in that round. That was a nuts round by Peter going ahead and spamming that smoke. Gets a double kill. And shuts down the outer take. Again, that's just good play by CLG. Good team players. They had Hayes come over to Mini and Tarek coming up Secret.
I like how you said ooh this time, Holden.
Ooh.
Sounded pretty sensual.
Hey, you know, I'm a pretty sensual guy, I've been told. Don't laugh.
Same round coming in for Elevate. So at this point, Counter Logic Gaming is looking good now. And this is where I was telling myself, okay, I don't want to jinx it, but Elevate at this point, usually when it comes to about the 4th or 5th round of their side on playing T side, this is where things starts crumbling down. So it's a good thing that they got somewhat of this lead so far, since they have a lot of rounds to work with still. But man, this is going to start to get very stressful, because at the same time, CLG, they're building up their economy to buy 1 or 2 rounds in a row, despite having this double op setup. So now Roka 1D onto Peter. Cutler on the top of Heaven, dropping one, still trying to go for the trade. But Elise decides to fall back. All of them are so low. They're going to try to get him from behind inside CT spawn with success. And now they have a one-man advantage for Elevate. Finesse still at upper. Hayes inside the hut. He's trying to look back with the AWP. He's going to have to get a quick scope here. Two guys closing in on him. Gets the first one. Pushed in. Lost the fight against Elish. 2 versus 1 now. Hazed. Inside the hut still. M4 in hand, 24 seconds left on the clock. But they're all split up right now for Elevate, so this could still be a winnable round for Elevate. I mean, for CLG. 16 seconds left on the clock. He hears a drop. He's coming out, misses that, wins that fight, but at least the bomb gets planted. Now it's a 1 versus 1. Storm has no armor. And he's about to eat that nade, and he is down. So they're going to come in for the defuse, but a successful eco round for Team Elevate there.
FNS had just had really tough positioning there in mini, and not, he didn't really have a good way to sort of get out of there. I don't think it probably would have been better off for him to try to maybe fall back towards the squeaky door so that he had some support from Hayes. But he did get the first kill there, which helped them have the chance to sort of win that round. Hayes just positioning himself really well in that hut, not peeking anything overly aggressive, and really it came down to a matter of timing. He had an enemy there, eyes trained on him for a long time in hut, but he just never peeked out that window until after he sort of rotated around, and then he gets the good flick into the site, give him the chance on the bomb planter after that.
So looks like CLG's opted back to a single op setup here, as they didn't really have Finesse put that to work inside the ramp room area. So he says, all right, they're not really coming towards ramp when it's a gun round fight, so he could just focus on using the M4 instead for better support for retakes. At this point now, we are executing a few smokes towards the outside, but nobody's crossing so far, so it is a fake sort of going in for Team Elevate. They're going for a late push through. There's another flash being thrown.
I was say they got to be careful. Hayes was lurking that smoke, but he ended up rotating off of it. And now all of a sudden they're going to go ahead, Elevate is, and work this secret real quick. There is a smoke down there stopping them from the early take. And they're actually splitting. They're trying to split this. They have 2 going ramp, and Peter gets 1 real quick, and FNS picks up the other one.
The last guys are at lower, but Hayes gets that frag. Cutler then Storm, the last man standing, one more time. Third time his LMS, and third time that he's not going to win this fight after he gets late by Peter. And that is going to be it. PTR getting the kill with a P250. But at the same time, you called that push by Hayes inside that smoke. What he was trying to do was to try to see if there was some sort of small gap opening between the 2 smokes that are being thrown. So after that radius, he could actually still crouch in between and see some legs cross over. But it was still, it was very well smoked there by Elevate to be able to take towards the outside. But just the split didn't work out with Peter deciding to hold inside ramp instead of the outside with that AWP that last round.
Yeah, and they, it actually worked out well because they were smoked out. He wouldn't have been able to do a whole lot outside anyways unless he was playing up towards Heaven. But playing ramp actually worked out very well, as you said, because they ended up doing that split. But now we've got Elevate out here spamming down, trying to do some damage through the outer roof. They've actually got 3 players out there just spamming down, and finally one's going to rotate off. So Storm's playing out there on that upper T roof, as well as Rush, and the rest of the players have sort of dropped down. You got Roka at Squeaky, as well as Elige and company here in lobby. They get flashed out, so they were going to try to peek. But Roka's spamming down a little bit in that door, puts a hole into it, but unable to connect on anyone. But Peter is down to 36 HP, so eyes on him as he is lit up.
If Elevate maintains their season's patterns, I'm going to predict that they're going to lose the next 3 rounds and then finally bring it to game point situation.
That's, I mean, they have this hard time closing out games, and then they've frequently been able to. They let teams come back and then somehow manage out to win the last 2 rounds. So, like everyone, XP3 is tweeting saying, we just like to give our fans heart attacks, and so they live up to that time and time again.
I'm going to make sure I'm going to have to slap him in person tomorrow when I make it to ETS land. But they're going to try to commit towards this upper side right now. Targ waiting, lining up the first one. They're still having to run through the smoke, and Targ takes the upper hand out of that. Look at that. Just going left and right, getting the easy kills. Not a single bullet was shot at him, and he just got an easy triple there. And he didn't even have to counter flash. Like I said, the smokes that Elevate through to try to execute towards the upper side actually came more in favor of the counter-terrorist team than the terrorist team themselves.
Yeah, like you said, he just sat there, used those back and forth, sitting on that back wall of the bomb site, and because they had to push through those smokes, he had the clear advantage. None of them were deep in the site, so he wasn't smoked out. He just sat with the clear portion of the bomb site and just shoot him through there. So.
And the only thing they needed right there were flashes. If they had flashes, somebody like Tarek playing out in the open like that would have been fully blinded, which would have given them a chance to take the upper site. But again, working with only smokes, playing one-way smokes when you have the elevation angle too, it's very hard. Now Save Round coming in from Elevate as they get a nice trade on the outside. Rush with a Tech 9 opening onto Hayes. They're going to try to push inside the ramp as well against Peter. Can Peter hold it so far? Runs across, gets the kill onto Roka. Storm meanwhile walks through. Doesn't know that he's there. He peeks up.
Oh my goodness!
First shot onto Storm. Storm had the first shots, but just couldn't connect his bullets from the P250 onto PTR. So the last two guys are going to be on the outside. It's going to be XP3 and Rush. XP3 able to pick up an M4, A4, and Rush an M4A1 as they're now going to try to lurk towards the outside. Cutler's about to peek out, spots this fight, wins it against XP3, dinked back by Rush, so Rush, your position is now given away. 30 seconds left in the clock, still has the bomb on his back though, moving back towards upper, doing the smart move to reload first, but Cutler knows that he's just around the corner. He's going to peek out, gets the kill, looks back towards Hut. Angle being played right now, he's just going to try to go for a fake plant. Here's Peter moving up towards the ladder, so knows where the last two guys are. And Peter whiffs all of the shots, giving him a chance to plant. 25 HP left, gets the kill with a Tech 9, almost gets it onto Finesse, but Finesse comes in just on time to get the frag with the M4 and the defuse. And now it's going to be 14-12. A bomb plant coming in for Elevate where they could buy. So this is where Elevate will lose this round, force buy the next one, and then get game point situation.
Goodness though, but I can't. They got that that plan. I can't believe he was able to get in there and get that. I thought as soon as the fake failed and he didn't get that first frag, I thought it was donezo.
Yeah, especially if Peter should have actually got that kill.
I was watching it from the other perspective, so I was just watching Peter just try to spam down from above as he's sitting there watching him not hit a single shot onto him. So, but XP3 does get the early one onto Peter, which is pretty significant. As Peter just obviously been holding things fairly well, especially at that ramp, and he's not there this time, but gets dropped early, and now we've got Hayes. He's going to lurk in that smoke again outside, see if he can catch anyone coming out of there. That's Rush, and Ali's going to push up, and Hayes is right there in that smoke, and he's going to let him pass, and then probably lurk behind him. There's one more player he's just got to let go, and now Hayes is going to make this move, and Storm's sitting there ready for it. Oh boy. Hayes gets one and nades down one more. Yes, he gets the kill after getting dropped by Rush. So decent play there by Hayes to go ahead and just let the players pass him before he tries to interact.
So now it's a 3 versus 3. They know that they're on the outsides, but they're not contesting this right now for CLG. They just want to play the angle, smarter move, let them come to us. Finesse getting the kill from the outside at lockers onto Roka, 3-on-2. Now they have to commit towards upper, and they lose that fight. So now, they have enough money, it's going to be a force buy for Elevate, and they're going to get a game point situation, right?
Sure, Mr.
So far it's been on point.
Yeah,
I said they were going to lose the next 3 rounds, then win this one.
I fully expect you to predict every frag that occurs these next few rounds as well, please.
Alright, so Peter is going to be the first one to opt down XP3, who's still going to try to lurk towards the outside without an AWP.
Alright.
So XP3 is making his way out there. But that smoke's just going to hold it off for a bit. The rest of the guys are just holding inside the lobby right now. It should be smoke towards ramp room area as well, so everybody's going to hold out towards the lobby. So it really has to come to this fight towards the outside unless CLG tries to play it aggressively through the hut.
So they're playing it, they're playing it pretty slow here. They got a big presence here towards ramp, and that's where Elevate's going to focus. They got FNS to deal with, and then they've also got Peter, who's going to rotate over real quickly. So he's going to play that juncture and see if he can help out FNS. But I don't know, are they going to fall back? FNS does get a leash through that, and there's a Molotov in front of him. Now Peter's going to peek out. He actually doesn't get in. He gets dropped down to 22 HP, so he's going to fall back to heaven while this ramp execute takes. And there was... FNS did a good job dropping down into lower, so he fell off, wasn't going to allow himself to get fragged, and now they have full support at lower and upper. Wherever this final execute ends up happening, Peter going to play in heaven opping down towards hell if they were head that way, but Tarek picks up 1. 2.
Yep. Trying to go for a third here. Roka with only 2 HP, and now it's going to be XP3 who's been lurking just the whole freaking round on the outside, not really helping out his team. So that's the mistake right there. So my prediction falls after that. So it is tied 14-14. Elevate in a tough situation where they will decide if they will force buy, and they will. So it all comes down to this.
And now you don't have to worry about me asking you for lottery numbers because you failed to predict that. So
yeah, I was close. Maybe, well, at least in the lottery numbers, I would get 5 out of 7. So you would have still had like $100,000.
Oh,
I wouldn't complain.
yeah, that's not bad. I'd take
Right?
it.
So let's see what happens. Elevate, still trying to hold it slowly. XP3 burning in this flame, trying to get an early pick inside the mini area, but Hayes is already held on the left side of mini. Now they're just going to stay back on the outside, just trying to get this pre-fire shots going. Through this smoke, but Elige is going to win that fight against Peter. Was that towards the outside? I think it was. Yep, Elige was on top of Silo, spotted Peter on the top of the balcony and got that kill. This is a huge round coming in for CLG right now, because that nullifies a huge angle on the outside hold. They have to force now Cutler to play towards the outside for CLG, which gives a chance for Elevate to cross over, and Roka getting an entry frag at Upper. So now Upper is almost open for business. Cutler rotated back towards the top of heaven with Tarek. They're going to have to hold it for as long as they can, but Elevate decides to roll back and head towards Secret. At least Roka, after getting killed, could call audibles that there are 2 towards the upper bomb site. And they have committed to lower for Elevate. Trying to go for the plant, 23 seconds left on the clock. Nobody's covering him, but at least he's not going to get shot. Tarek on a rotation, getting the kill onto Elige. Storm playing his favorite spot. Rush with XP3 playing deep inside the site as XP3 opens it up into the doorway of control. He gets a second one onto Tarek. Last one is going to be Cutler. Gets the kill onto Rush, but then XP3 getting 3 kills. Oh, baby, a triple. And it is game point situation for Elevate. As, ladies and gentlemen, knowing Elevate's pattern, is this going to go into another overtime?
Those angles that XP3 was opping, I mean, it's just being able to play the sound that he was hearing and playing that so smart, working the silo to his advantage, knowing that there was probably one more coming ramp, but peeking towards that control room side, and then all getting the flick on the legs of that CLG member. And Peter, he actually gets the shot through the wall. He was getting spammed down. He gets the shot through the wall. Peter, so smart play there, and ramp could go ahead and get that shot. And whoo, that was actually close. There was some spam going down on that. Again, towards the T roof. Unable to get it. Elige boosted up on the silo again, but he's not going to find Peter, obviously, because Peter is back towards ramp. So they got Cutler playing this outside. He's playing in garage with the M4. I don't know that they're going to push any aggression out there quite yet, as again, Roka playing Squeaky. He's going to try to catch Hayes, who is there.
He loves that spot, too. He loves putting that little hole inside the squeaky door and trying to play that tap game. But it seems as though his opponent really liked to do the same thing there, and I think that was Tarek. Tarek down to 74 HP. But there is still one man down. Speaking about Elevate, they have to win this round to win the game, of course. But I'm looking forward to seeing overtime. CLG, if they're not going to make it to the LAN finals, at least end it with a big game here against Elevate. Cutler, narrow it, or giving them a 2-minute advantage now after taking down the leash on the outside. Incendiary grenades to try to hold back and run the clock down, so they're really going to have to force the last 2 guys of Elevate to just push together towards any site right now. There's barely any time to work with, so they have to commit towards this red room now. Finesse holding it back, but getting a flank, getting a crossfire. It is a 5-on-1, and it is overtime.
What can we ask for more? There's been so many good matches this entire season long. It comes down to the last night of matches to determine who makes playoffs, and we get an overtime match on Nuke.
And it's you just gotta thank Elevate for that, man.
Yeah, I mean, they just continuously go down to like full regulation rounds or into overtime constantly, and here we are again. I don't know if I have enough ooze left for this overtime.
Yeah, I mean, you better keep them coming, because there's been a lot of big rounds from both teams, big players so far in this game. Let's look at the scoreboard. I can't really look at the scoreboard so far because we got to wait for the match to start. But, man, Peter finally was unstoppable in terms of holding his angles with the AWP. Not only holding towards the outside, but going left and right on a rotation from ramp and on the outside as well. Making it very hard for Elevate to get anything done. The smokes are just too strong still in CSGO. The amount of time that Elevate is forced to hold inside T-spawn, inside lobby, and really on the outside as well, they lose about 20 seconds, 25 seconds when a smoke comes out, waiting for that to dissipate. So that's already pretty much a third of the round down. On top of that, they have to try to go for executes, trying to overtake a site, and trying to get a bomb plant. So really, there's not much time to work left for Elevate when they're trying to execute towards these strats with on the T side. They just have to try. The only way that they're able to win these rounds is if they're able to get the early opening frags. Pushing inside as a team, we've seen that so far they're getting demolished by the way CLG's playing their CT sides. They just have the better upper hands, and again, Elevate is basically counter-stratted themselves with their own smokes. And that doesn't really give them a chance to win the rounds here. Now they start off on T side as well on OT. Oof. It's gonna be a tough battle again, but you know what? We've called it many a times before. Elevate is used to this. This is nothing new to them, so they won't get that stress as you would expect. And on top of that, at the end of the day, they wouldn't be stressed at all because they're already making it to the LAN finals.
True. That is true. So the interesting thing here is, and nuke overtime, I think in particular, and this is why it's interesting, is because as soon as if you are able to get one on your terrorist side of a max round 3 overtime on nuke, you'll feel pretty good going into your CT overtime. So you're looking for one. You're looking for one because you expect yourself as a CT side, you know, how CT side of this map is, you expect yourself to be able to pick up all the rounds in CT. So, you know, if Elevate gets one here early or even gets 2, they're going to be in a really good spot. On the flip side, if you don't get any, the pressure's big, but you don't feel that bad because you know you can just as easily pick up all 3 and move it to double overtime, which knowing these teams wouldn't be surprising to see.
For sure. So, guys, if you just tuned in now, we're about ready to do the overtime between CLG and Elevate. Following this after, we're going to be giving away a raffle, which is going to be the factory new flip knife Doppler, courtesy of ESEA TV. Mind you that we are not in any way associated with Twitch TV on the giveaway, but we're about to start the overtime. We'll talk about it later. We'll show you the knife too, and you guys make sure you have to subscribe if you want to win the knife, or a chance to win a knife. Let's get back into the game. Let's get our heads back in the game. Let's stay focused. Overtime is now starting. CLG, composed of Tarek, Finesse, Peter, Hazed, and Cutler. While for Team Elevate, we have Lige, Roka, XP3, Rush, and Storm. Both teams with a one-op setup. Peter trying to look aggressively towards the outside, but again, everybody from Elevate playing it slow. They're going for a boost peak. So Rush is already on top of the boxes, but with Peter's reaction time, this should be quite easy for him to get the kills, but he's not going to get it because everything is smoked out so far. But it still has a small crack, but he opts not to look through that. So everybody from Elevate already rotated over. We have to wait for one guy at secret lower. It's going to be Hayes. He smoked it out to hold it out just a bit. Lots of nades coming through, and really it's only Hayes and Elige that's going to get hit from that. Flash and Molly being thrown, but these guys are just holding back. Rush is dying! Oh. He almost got barbecued to a crisp, already down to 48 HP, so that was a great incendiary grenade there thrown by Hayes to put 3 of them down to sub 50. Pika's advantage coming through, spots him. Elige peeking through, he falls down. Hayes trying to peek back up. Finally gets traded back out, but meanwhile, Cutler does get to go, who's trying to rotate and lurk over. Last 3 guys are at low right now for Team Elevate, just at control room. They smoke out the area, but just badly enough, or good enough, I guess, for XP3 to get the angled shot and narrow it down or even it up on a 3-on-3 situation. Tarek coming through the smoke, or coming through the vent, dropping 2, and now XP3 on a 2 versus 1 with the AWP. Peter looking into control, wins that fight, and it's going to be the easy defuse for Tarek as CLG takes the first round of overtime. Holden, did I lose you?
Nope, I'm just kidding, trying to get us a little bit of information sent over to us here for the end of this match, but as we head towards it. But yeah, I mean, that's CLG, obviously. When you go into max round 3 overtime on Nuke, you need to pick up that round, and they did a really good job of rotating. Actually rotated 3 through ramp, which isn't necessarily the common rotate you see. Usually it's you send most of your people down through vent or back through squeaky, and that's where you rotate from. They actually sent 3 down ramp that time and put a huge presence there, and just was too much for Elevate to be able to handle.
They're going to try to commit towards the outside again with 3 guys, 1 guy on the top of Silo. So they are focusing on that, but Peter is still getting the up shots, this time from the upper heaven. Taking down Rush. They have made it to lower. But Hayes again is holding by that staircase. It's going to be a Molly and nade. That's not going to hurt Hayes too much. He's going to counter back with his own incendiary grenade. But after that, Elevate decides to move back up towards the upper and possibly win this fight on the outside. But Peter, meanwhile, has decided to fall back from heaven inside ramp to watch lower. So this could be good right now for Elevate if they want to try to pinch upper. They have to try to beat Cutler at Wolf Vent. They have 1 guy inside the hut, which is Roka, who could flash them out. Loses the fight and loses all of his grenades. Trade coming through, and Cutler still manages to get the headshot there. Just spamming across, staying alive. Elige is outpinned. They're spamming across. XP3 getting the offshot. Elige getting the first kill, but then Cutler's still alive in that corner. They should have had the kill onto Cutler in the corner, but nobody puts Baby in a corner. It's a big 4K for Cutler to make it 2 rounds in the overtime against Elevate.
That was just ridiculous for him. Just she sat there, and he didn't really have a choice but to not move. But Elevate really just didn't try to put the eyes on him that they needed to, and he comes up huge with that, taking him down as they entered into that bomb site. So now all of a sudden, Elevate, because of how they bought up, and XP3 losing, obviously buying the op twice and losing all his rounds. Now he's just got a Tech 9 on his back, so they don't have his op presence. But they are going to work towards outside again. They've just sent a Roka towards the lobby. Again, he's just kind of playing that lurker role. Peter gets 1. I don't know if that was completely through smoke. I didn't see the angle that it came through, but it was a big shot there by Peter. And now they're going to work down towards Secret. This is Elevate trying to push down. They're smoked off. Hayes is here going to be defending. As they try to work down. And Hayes actually falls back into the vent. So he's not going to let him push. He throws a molly down so they can't push in on him. And now they've got 3 Elevate players towards the control room side to deal with as they actually rotate down. They've already got 2 down on vent. That's FNS and Peter. He is on ramp as well, excuse me. Tarek picks up 1, but Rush actually gets a return onto Hayes, and Tarek now by himself in the lower bomb site, seeing what he can do. Peter's rotated down. He gets another shot through the smoke, but gets taken out by Roku's flank.
Trade after trade after trade after trade. Yes. 1 for 1 every single time. And so now, bomb is down towards lower.
Yeah, go ahead.
Roka creeping up here. I think Cutler might have heard the footstep. Yeah, he's going to win that round. And it's going to be 3 unanswered rounds. So Elevate, tough uphill battle to play against Counterlogic Gaming. Can you bring this to double overtime? To do so, they have to win 3 rounds in a row. And Counterlogic Gaming, if they win this OT, this is going to give them 16 in terms of rounds 4. So if it does go to MRs, we'll have to see what's going to happen after.
So we will see. CLG, got to feel pretty good about that. I mean, they had a decently successful T side on the first half once they figured some things out. So we'll see if they can correlate that to a good, successful overtime round. They just need 1 now to be able to take this away. And they've obviously got the op on the back of Peter, and they're going to work him towards outside. They've got 2 players supporting him. That is Tarek and Hayes. They're going to boost up and see if they can peek anything, but they don't. And so now they're just going to work that out and see if they control that outer bomb site, outside with Peter.
So they are able to creep through right now for CLG. Storm is playing a little bit more differently right now with the Liege. Actually, they actually stacked more towards lower this time. This could give a chance right now for CLG if they make it towards Secret to go up the vents and then pinch towards the upper bomb site. But everybody seems to be committed to work towards the outside. They're just holding it for now as it's been smoked out. But it's going to be a last-minute push into possibly the upper bomb side right now for CLG. They're going to play for the boost. Yeah, so they're going to play for the boost and try to pinch towards upper at this point. 27 seconds left on the clock. They're going to boost the non-bomb planners, or the non-bomb planter. Oh, they made a noise up on heaven. I don't know if they're going to be able to hear him right now, but they're coming in and trying to pinch towards the upper. XP3 loses that fight, though. Here it comes. Rush and Roka staying alive, going to work, and it's a 1 versus 1. Oh, Rush is reloading right now, getting spun across. 2 HP left for Hayes, but Rush wins that one with a 3K. And they put the first round on the scoreboard, but that was close because running it across was Hayes with the AK-47 spray. Oh, man.
That was
Imagine
dangerous.
a stray bullet hit him in the face. That was GG right there.
That was so dangerous. I mean, CLG did a decent job going ahead and trying to take that upper bomb site the way they did, but just Roka and Rush with their positioning, go ahead and spray those down and get the frags that needed to secure that bomb site. And now all of a sudden, we've got actually, after that, they're actually going to all AK up, so Peter's not going to put the op on his back, so they're not all AK up, and they're going to run this outer bomb site. Excuse me, again, just outside. And they've already got eyes on them, so they know they're all outer, and I think they also know that they haven't dropped secret yet, so Elevate does not need to drop down into the lower. I think they know that they're getting some pressure here towards the outer, the locker room and towards Hell. XP3 playing it back, trying to see if he can get a pick on it. I don't know that he's going to find anything, but now they're finally going to drop down back into ramp so that they can quick rotate to lower if they get that call.
Hayes is still lurking towards the outside right now, and they're about to boost Finesse up here towards this Twink again, or towards the back Twink at Heaven. Boosting Tarek at the same time, but footstep was heard. So maybe the guy playing close Heaven, yeah, Rush is going to play it there towards the entrance. Nice way to crouch across, though, for that peek. Boom! On the railing, Tarek gets the kill. And they're going to try to take this upper side again. 2 flashes coming through. Elish is going to have to look up. Oh, a little bit of a teammate tag going through. Giving a chance for Elish to get the easy kill on the first guy. But the last 3 push in towards the upper bomb site. But there's 18 seconds left on the clock. And the bomb is down towards the outside, though. So they're going to smoke flash it. They're going to have to spam across. Roka puts him down solo. 1 HP left for Hayes. 34 for Cutler. Bomb on his back. Cutler getting the kill onto XP3. Rotating with his knife out, question mark. And now, Storm getting the last kill and getting the second one before even a bomb plant goes down, and this is big for Elevate right now because look at the money situation. Peter, broke, Finesse, could only afford a Galil right now, or going for, okay, no, he's going to go for an AK and armor and nade. I thought if he wanted to go for full nades, it was going to be a Galil, but he's just going to opt for a smoke. But this is looking good for Elevate right now for a double overtime.
Just huge rotation coming in from Storm at the end of that to go ahead and pick up the last 2. But obviously, Roka spamming down into Mini and just putting the hurt onto the CLG players. Like you said, dropping them down to 1 and 34 respectively. Really gave them the chance to win that. But now, CLG, again, actually FNS is going to get the early frag onto Rush. So that puts them a man up early in this round. So we'll see. They're actually going to work down and execute onto the lower bomb site. Storm, though, backing up and actually gets FNS, who is pushing him from ramp. So Hayes and Tark, they're both left at ramp, and now they're going to fall off. They know that because Storm is down there, they're going to call for the rotate. So the lower bomb site no longer an option for them at this point.
XP3 still playing upper towards this Heaven, though. So it's still going to be very tough for CLG to take this over. Hayes is at 12 HP at the same time. Peter's still only with the Tech 9. So this still Elevate's round to go right now. 43 seconds left on the clock. Storm is going to play towards the vents for easy rotates up and down. So they're better positioned right now. Storm is going to see a few. They're smoking towards the bottom. He's going to call it out. Look back towards the left. A little bit of confusion going on there, but they're going to go for a trade coming through. Tara gets the frag onto Roka before Roka took down Hayes. So it's going to be a 3 versus 3. Storm has a good angle to spot one, but once inside the fence, drops down, it's going to be Peter. Retaliating back. Oh, Elish misses the spray, misses the bomb carrier. It's a 2 versus 1. 10 seconds left on the clock. No health for XP3. 1 HP. Bomb is now planted. Tarek with 13 HP. Color at 89. Can XP3 bring this into overtime? If not, this was Elish's big mistake that cost them this game. XP3 only has a Tech 9. I think he ran out of bullets out of his M4 on top of that. And that is it. They are going to win this game. Speaking about CLG, 19-7. Down to the wire. That was unfortunate.
Oh, baby. That was... this is what we've seen from Elevate all season long, having an issue closing out any matches. We've seen CLG be able to come back and do what they've been doing so well all season long. That was one hell of a match to end North American Invite. And now we got to figure out what that all means. But
yeah, bring back the standings up here, Holden, because they have been updated.
Yeah.
So at this point, you have a 4-way tie in terms of... Sorry, I was reading the chat. I recognize that bedroom Van Silly Alligator says. But we have a 4-way tie from 2nd to 5th place between Elevate, Denali Esports, Counterlogic Gaming, and Luminosity Gaming. And this is speaking record-wise. But now it depends to see if it goes into head-to-head first or if it goes into rounds 4 first. Because if it goes into rounds 4 first, then Luminosity is out from the way that I could see it right now. But we're going to let our guys work in the back and figure that out.
Yep, we've got...
Hold it, just give me your thoughts here for all the matches that we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's been what you look at the standings, and realistically, for sort of 2 seasons in a row, it's always been a battle. Last season and the season before that, it's always a battle for the 3rd and 4th spots. Who's going to get the last spot into LAN? And then you look at the standings this season, and again, it's another close season, and you've got these 4 teams, 5 teams, all with the 10 wins, trying to battle it out for these last few spots. And now we've got to figure out, we've got admins back here right now trying to figure out the math and figure out who gets in. They're doing it, so we will be able to get that for you. I'm just really happy with how this season has gone. I've sat back behind the scenes most of these times. This so far, this was our relaunch of ESEA TV. We've been covered a whole ton of matches, including these invite matches, and so I've been able to watch them and just enjoy them. And now I'm here being able to cast the last three of the night, or 3 of the season for invite. We've got more main and premiere and whatnot next week, so we're not going offline for that, but we'll be back next week. But for invite, it's been a stellar season. I'm really excited to be able to see LAN. I'm trying to get confirmation, see if I can get confirmation for the EU standings as well, because I know there was like 1 spot potentially up for grabs there that they weren't sure about either. So those standings were coming down to the wire as well. So just a really great competition across invite. And with that...
Yeah, guys, give a quick round of applause to Holden as well, who's done such a great job on his play-by-play / color commentary on his only single night of broadcasting this season of ESEA Invite. So props to you, man. Props to you.
I appreciate it. Luckily, I was able to shake most of my rust off of onto Moses this weekend on Sunday when I was doing the Rabbit Power stuff. So it was a little bit better tonight. But with that said, I think what we're going to do, I did bring up the last few, the graphic there, basically the score updates, and you just look at those players that had a really stellar game, both on the Elevate and CLG side. Just great match from those players. So, but with that said, I think while we have our admins doing the math and letting us know who's going to go ahead and win this or take these land spots, let's go ahead and move into that factory new flip knife Doppler giveaway.
Can I win it too, please? Nonetheless, guys, if we actually do not get the tally on time for you guys by the end of the giveaway, we'll definitely do an official post on the forums for you guys to be able to read. That is going to be on ESEA.net on your favorite browser, or esportsea.com. There you go, esportsea.com. That's usually how I log on to the ESEA website, so you guys can check that all there. So let's do, without further ado, the giveaway.
Yes, sir. So let me just get this set up here real quick. But again, that is the knife. Let me go full screen on it so you can see it in all its glory. That is the knife you'll be getting. Let me just add in the... Actually, let's do it this way.
Oh, it looks good, man. It looks good. It looks good. It looks hype.